So cities and states in Australia have gone into lockdown, and others will inevitably go into lockdown over the next few days and weeks. And panic buying of toilet paper and other household items is happening once again in these lockdown sites. But why toilet paper? Well, strap yourselves in, sit back, relax, if you're not at the supermarket obviously, and I'll give you the full story. So when we're placed under stressful, unclear and evolving situations where there's a perceived lack of control, we work really hard to regulate our feelings. The simple act of problem solving, any problem solving, gives us a sense of control. Think of it this way. In situations of uncertainty and stress, people recognise that a problem exists, and so they try to go from the current bad situation to some kind of better situation. But if you're dealing with unclear information, the way to get to the better situation isn't immediately obvious. Resolving the problem might involve some difficulty and some thinking to come up with a solution. So what we tend to do is react to our immediate emotional needs rather than going through a rational, thoughtful process. In our minds, we feel that we need to take action to resolve what's called the dissonance or the feeling of unease. And research shows us that in generalised problem solving, we seek to satisfy two key requirements. The first one is that we must be able to perform the action in our current situation and circumstances. The second is that the action should lead to the desired end state, which is to reduce our sense of lack of control. And so, I think you know where I'm going with this. Funnily enough, toilet paper and other regular purchases satisfy that goal for control. Toilet paper is something that we readily and regularly buy, and it's easily stored, it's used frequently, so it requires little cognitive resources to think that we are going to need it if we're quarantined for any reason or if things get out of hand. And while most of us know that COVID-19 is a respiratory virus and that toilet paper will do nothing to manage the virus, what people are doing is responding without thinking too much to a regular habit of purchase to regain that sense of control. That said, predicting which regular purchase, so toilet paper, consumers will make is a little bit more complex. It could have been anything that requires very little cognitive effort. So another factor comes into the mix. What we do know in general is that people are easily influenced by the decisions of others, especially in social and economic situations. So when information is limited, people tend to imitate those who have come before them, even though their information might be ridiculous or contradictory. So the herd instinct, where people follow the crowd to avoid risk, has linked up with the communication tool of the ages. So social media apps like WhatsApp, with private groups encouraging people to quickly buy toilet paper before it runs out, along with people joking on Twitter or Facebook or TikTok, and mainstream media showing images of shortages of toilet paper. And here's the thing, herd behaviour is powerful. We're social animals, and herd behaviour has the capacity to influence our behaviour even if we have alternative information that might contradict that behaviour. Linking this with the information cascade, a theory used in behavioural economics to explain how individuals make decisions in a sequential way, goes some way in explaining why people might buy up big. Importantly, in the information cascade scenario, things like the limited time in which people can act on information, the fact that the shelves are emptying and we're going into lockdown in 2.5 hours, and being able to observe the actions of others through things like social media and mainstream media can lead people to act irrationally and against their better judgment and those of their fellow citizens.